171. Relativism. Chalcedon Report number 101, January 1974. The denial of God has meant the denial of any meaning beyond man. The universe is held to be a product of meaninglessness and chance accidents, and the attempt of any to find purpose or mind behind the universe is ridiculed as wishful thinking. The social consequences of such a belief are rarely admitted by atheists or agnostics. Among the few who have been a little consistent with their unbelief was John Rutledge, the Southern leader and one of the first associate justices of the United States. A little later, the Senate refused to confirm him as Chief Justice. Rutledge rejected every argument drawn from, quote, religion and humanity, end quote, to apply to social and political issues. His principle was plainly stated. Interest alone is the governing principle with nations. Under the facade of laissez-faire, Rutledge in fact affirmed moral relativism and a statist economic order. It was with the 20th century that the politics of relativism began to flower into totalitarianism and slavery. Moral and religious values having been denied, there were now no restraints on the power of the state. The December 1973 Harper's Magazine carries an interesting example of this relativism. Frank Herbert's article, Listening to the Left Hand, subtitled, The Dangerous Business of Wishing for Absolutes in a Relativistic Universe. Herbert gives us an illustration to, quote, prove, end quote, relativity. If 3 bowls of water are lined up, one with ice water, another with lukewarm water, and the third with hot water, if we soak our left hand in the ice water and our right hand in the hot water, and then plunge both hands into the lukewarm water, our left hand will report the middle bowl to be warm, and the right hand will report it cold. Herbert calls this a small experiment in relativity, and adds, we live in a universe dominated by relativity and change, but our intellects keep demanding fixed absolutes. We make our most strident demands for absolutes that contain comforting assurance. We will misread and or misunderstand almost anything that challenges our favorite illusions. It is amazing that a man could come to such a conclusion and a periodical print it. Where is the relativity, except in naive experience? In reality, is there not a difference between hot and cold water, and is there not an observable temperature to the 3 bowls, one which can be registered, apart from Herbert's childish game? Herbert, however, wants to destroy differences by means of relativism, which is his private God. He posits that the human world or species is a single organism and must be understood as such. Herbert continues to make a number of conclusions in terms of his faith. There are no absolutes, and to try to think in terms of them is to rule out, quote, an answer with a sensible meaning, end quote. After all, Herbert asks, apparently ignorant of thermometers, or that a man can put both hands into all 3 bowls in turn. Which hand will you believe, the cold hand or the warm one? It serves no purpose to ask whether absolutes exist. Such questions are constructed so as to have no answer in principle. Herbert concludes, accordingly, both Pakistan and India could be equally right and equally wrong. This applies to Democrats and Republicans, to left and right, to Israel and the United Arab Republic, to Irish Protestants and Irish Catholics. Practically, this means that there is no right or wrong, and, short of total knowledge about all of reality, no conclusions can be drawn, for we do not like unproven propositions. Herbert's proposition is not only unproven, however, but it represents a very great act of self-blinded faith. If there is no right nor wrong, and humanity is one organism, then there is no warrant whatsoever for any resistance to enslavement, or for any independence from the mob, or from a slave state. The rapid spread of statist slavery in the 20th century has coincided with the spread of relativism and unbelief. Politics is thus far more than a political affair. It is a moral and a religious concern. Like all of life, it has deep roots in man's faith, in the basic presuppositions of his life and outlook. As long as relativism spreads, so long will slavery increase, and the politics of slavery will dominate us. Education for slavery is the daily routine of modern statist education, both in the Marxist states and in the Western democracies and republics. The continued decline in the learning ability of youth is a natural one. If all things are relative and, in essence, meaningless, then why should education, discipline, and a job have any meaning? Why bother with marriage, if marriage has no meaning, because all is meaningless? We should not be surprised at the social anarchy of recent years. We have been schooling our youth for it. To school youth into a belief in relativism and the essential meaninglessness of life is, at best, to educate them for irrelevance, but, even more, for death and final oblivion. Any culture which negates its heritage by its education has no future. It will be supplanted by those with a faith for living. Over and over, this era is underscoring the truth of wisdom's declaration. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 36. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. If our foundation is not the rock, it will be the sands of relativism.